Is your hunger the reason why you struggle to lose weight? In this video, I'll show you how to control your appetite so you can achieve weight loss over 35. Hi, it's Ivana, helping you get fit, healthy, and strong at any age. If you like the sound of that, please subscribe and hit the bell. I've been coaching fitness and nutrition for over 20 years, and one of the things that many of my clients struggle with is excessive appetite and cravings, which tend to go together. I'm going to explain the evidence-based ways to manage your appetite over 35. And at the end, I'm going to tell you what's made the biggest difference for me personally to manage my excessive appetite, which you might be surprised to hear was quite large. I once managed to consume 52 sushi rolls at an all-you-can-eat sushi restaurant in a very short time. My first tip is reduce your carb intake. As we get older, our carb tolerance tends to decline, so you might not be as able to effectively manage the carbs that you're taking in. Lower carb intake helps you manage your blood sugar levels. This is why low carb diets are often recommended for reducing appetite and reducing cravings, and they do function that way. It's not to say that you have to eliminate carbs completely, but you have to find out what level of carbs you can have and then still keep your appetite under control. Of course, the blood sugar response is a little bit different from person to person. If you're on the leaner side, your blood sugar response to carbs is probably a little bit better. The leaner you are, the more carbs in general you can have, up until the point where you find that your appetite is greater and then you consume excessive calories. The next tip is increase your fat intake. Often when people are trying to reduce their calories, they often reduce fat as well. Years ago, we used to do a lot of low fat dieting, but the problem with that is that if you don't have enough fat, then you don't have that feeling of satiety with your meal, you don't feel full, and it makes it very difficult for you to manage your appetite. And appetite management is how you control your calorie intake. Fats have a negligible impact on your blood sugars. Do be careful though, because fats can add up quite quickly. 1 tablespoon of oil is about 120 calories. Depending on your size, you probably want to have 1 or a maximum of 2 tablespoons of fat per meal. Another way to control your appetite is to increase your protein intake. Protein is the most satiating nutrient and keeps you fuller for longer. Having protein early in the day can help reduce your overall caloric intake. That again is going to lead to weight loss and fat loss. Having protein in a meal also decreases ghrelin, which is the hunger hormone. Ghrelin is the one that increases your appetite and makes you really hungry, so you want to manage that as much as possible. And protein will decrease that hunger hormone. My next tip is increase your fiber intake. Fiber increases the feeling of fullness with a meal. And the great thing about fiber is that most foods that are high in fiber are also quite healthy foods, like vegetables, which have a lot of fiber, and fruit, especially berries, are low in calorie density, meaning you can eat quite a lot and fill up your stomach without a lot of calories. So that's a natural way of decreasing your caloric intake. The other important thing is to drink enough water. Now, don't go crazy with this, although the 2 liters is kind of a good rough idea. You just want to make sure that you're not dehydrated and that's causing your hunger. A great tip is to drink a glass of water about half an hour before you're due to eat. This has actually been shown to reduce the total number of calories you eat during that meal. It also means that you're going to take down thirst, which can often be mistaken for hunger. And now we come to sleep and stress management, which is huge for most people. And it's often the thing that everyone kind of shuffles to the side and say, oh, okay, yeah, whatever. Let me do everything else, but don't do that. But for me, it's the most important thing. Let's start with sleep first and how it affects your appetite. If you are tired, you're going to increase your appetite. It also impacts those hormones. The one I spoke of before, ghrelin, the hunger hormone, it's increased when you are slightly sleep deprived. And it doesn't take a lot. Just one night of 6 hours of sleep when you really need 7.5 can impact your appetite. When you get enough sleep, leptin, which is the hormone that is in opposition with ghrelin, it's the one that takes your appetite down. Your level of leptin increases when you get enough sleep, and it decreases when you don't get enough sleep. So you want to fight to get as much leptin and reduce your ghrelin levels. Now, stress management is the second part of this. We often talk about exercise, of course, as stress management, or meditation. And I understand that not everybody's into that, but there has to be some way that you learn to manage your own stress. And sometimes it's just telling yourself, hey, I don't need to do this right now, or this is going to be better in a couple of weeks, or this is going to be better next year. This is going to be better when we have a vaccine. A certain amount of stress is normal and you should expect it. Life is just like that. But when your stress levels are excessively high, like many of us have experienced in the last several months, it can make a big difference in your appetite and your desire to eat sweet things, particularly carbs in general. Having awareness of that in the first place is a good way to reduce your appetite in those cases. Sometimes it's just a matter of taking a few moments to say, hey, why am I about to eat this? Am I genuinely hungry? Or is it just out of habit that whenever I feel stressed, I reach for food? And now I wanted to share what I've done to manage my appetite, which used to be pretty excessive in my 20s, and I did suffer from some binge eating as well. First of all, I stopped banning certain foods from my diet. I am able to eat whatever I want, not in unlimited quantities, of course, and not all the time. But banning things from your diet makes you crave them more. So you may feel that you have a greater appetite for certain things just because you miss them. The other thing that I've done is remind myself that this is not the last meal I'm ever going to have. This is not the last time that I'm ever going to have a piece of cheesecake or any particular treat that I see in front of me, anything that I order from a restaurant. It's not the last time that I'm ever going to be able to have this food. So if you remember that if you put that food away and put it back on the shelf, or you put it back in the fridge, then you can enjoy it again tomorrow, and then you're actually going to enjoy it a lot more. This has helped me quite a lot because I was the kind of person who would have to pretty much eat every food that was in. If there was a tub of ice cream, I would have to have it all on the first day. And now my family can keep ice cream and we'll have it over several days, and you can actually stretch out the enjoyment of that food rather than compulsively eating it on the first day. And of course, this takes a lot of practice, and anytime we're talking about mindset change, it takes a little bit of time. If you use the tips that I went through earlier on for naturally reducing your appetite through how you're eating, then you're gonna find that it's easier to change the way you look at food and that you can manage your appetite a lot more effectively. Please hit that like button if you learned something from this video, and I also want to send you over to my website, ivanachapman.com, where you can pick up a copy of my free ebook. Please subscribe, hit the bell, and I'll see you next week.